Yeah, but then okay, learners, are you ready now? So we start with the machine learning methods.
Yes, sir.
Now, machine learning method primarily use all the statistical routines and all the things which you have done, and it takes all the data and takes sample data, prepare a model, and that model is used for final data. That's the machine learning. So it is used for a lot of activities in the in the day-to-day activity. May it be administration, may it be teaching, may it be production, maybe anything. So this is the one which we are going to study. So this is introduction, objective, introduction to machine learning, techniques of machine learning, reinforcement learning and algorithm, deep learning and algorithm, and ensemble method. Ensemble method means you use more than one method. You have three, four model of the data and you use combine the results of all these things, then summarize it. So this is the work which we are doing. Introduction, after AI was introduced in the computing world, the need to keep in check was should be some rules and all these things processes was so the devices that don't have AI or ML are just data processing, whereas ML is become more powerful for part of AI. To get the level of intelligence, you need to get algorithm and data into a machine in a way that lets it make decision. For example, real-time GPS data. The GPS data maybe you are going from one place to another, maybe tourists are going and all that. That shows that there are quickest and fastest route. Right? Supposing from Merit you want to go to DTS, DTC's place. So there is a way you can go to the Pragati Maidan, there is a way you can go for other route, there is a way for going. So then it will GPS provide which is the fastest route. Less red light, less traffic and all these things. अगर कहीं एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो वो भी बताएगा कि ये यहाँ जो traffic is more problem and all that. So this is the GPS condition. So this is important. This is one of the simplest examples that can help to understand how machine learning can help in independent decision making. Now, because when you are sitting in your car or your motorbike and all that, and you see that GPS algorithm and GPS says you follow one track or the other track, you know what it means by that. The accuracy of the data as a whole is a topic of debate, but Google has a lot of important data there and all that. So that's where so accuracy is also there. It is necessary that these boundaries of the entirely machine learning algorithms and engine. Simplest example would be if we instruct an auto-driving car to reach a destination at a specific time. IT should also work within the legal boundaries of the land, not to break the traffic rules to achieve the desired results. The boundaries and restrictions cannot be ignored as they are very important for any self. This is you're talking of auto car, which is driverless car जो है ऑटो कार जो आप अब अमेरिका में चला रहे हैं इंडिया में भी कई कई है auto bus auto cars are there. Then input is sold for business. Data has been key component of making any decision. So data is important. For example, GPS use the data. All these things are important. Both artificial intelligence and statistics research group contributed to the development of machine learning. Because AI or statistics both combined, it is used in machine learning. So that's where it is Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, all the machine learning as part of the decision making process and all that. So that's where there are a number of open source solutions for machine learning that can be used with API calls and all that. So these are various methods which are various scientists name given, MCA 1994 and all these things are given there. So let's go to the objective. Objective is understand the basics of machine learning, identify various techniques of machine learning, and understand the concept of reinforcement learning, and understand the concept of deep learning, and then ensemble. Ensemble means combine number of models from task. So, so introduction to machine learning. So machine learning, as we said, AI plus statistics is used. So all these data is used for developing some statistical model, simple regression, some multiple regression, or all type of things you are doing. So that is sample data, which is a real sample. That means this data should represent the whole family. So that sample data is used. The more conventional form of statistical investigation are the origin of great deal of prevalent data mining and machine learning technique. Data scientists have a background in technology and also have expertise in areas such as statistics, data mining, and machine learning. These are the things which we are talking about. So data mining, this becomes the final machine learning. This is the lower portion in the machine learning, and this is the statistics data mining. So these three combined, and AI is overall in charge of all the things. So that makes machine learning as part of the AI, and statistics and data mining also part of AI. So that's where the things happen. Data mining statistics. So we learned the difference between machine learning and data mining from the conversation. Nevertheless, because all three, machine learning, data mining, statistics are intertwined, we must grasp their relationship. So we must know what is the relationship. Because statistics is used for developing up the models from machine, and then data mining is picking up the data, missing data, taking data, all these things are. These things are, all three are very, very important things. So both sides have quite diverse and tedious throughout history. If forced to choose one point of emphasis, statistics may have been more concerned with testing hypothesis. Then statistics has become much more important than even the question of data mining. Okay, then we go to gain an understanding the cyber phenomenon that produce the data that is being investigated, to abstract the understanding of underlying phenomenon in the form of model, to predict the future values of phenomenon by using the model that was just generated, and to identify anomalous behavior exhibited by phenomenon that is being observed. So the model is a model. It doesn't give the exact picture, but if there are changes, you go back and forth so that you can improve your model. You have, because you use more data, use maybe your sample data was not ideal data. So these things are important. So that's what you should do. So various open source implementation of machine learning algorithm that can be, this is talked about there, you can see API and all that. Almost all the framework, that is what is, you can read this, all that. And to learn means to acquire knowledge, to gain knowledge or understanding of something through experience it or through learning about it, some art or practice. To gain experience with something, learn new skill or master a talent. Then to memorize, to acquire something through the experience, example, or practice doing so. So these are the so you can say that these are the various things. Technique for machine learning. So machine learning cycle make machine learning application to similar to making a machine learning algorithm. So that whatever machine learning is doing, you are building up algorithm. You use the data for building up a model, and that you how do you build up the model? So that you first plan, see the data, how data is scattered. Data is a simple. Can you have a simple regression equation, multiple regression equation, or it's a elliptical equation, or it's a hyperbola? All type of things you have to look into it. So this is the machine learning cycle at a glance. So start with access and load the data, pre-process the data, drive feature using the pre-processed data, then train model using the features derived in step 3. यहाँ पर जो data है उससे model बनाइए. Iterate to find the best model, integrate the best trained model into production system, and then you get the result here. So this is the machine learning cycle at a glance that you understand. So that you start with the data, pre-process it, derive feature using the pre-processed data, train models, iterate, integrate, and then go for this. This is the so data identification, data preparation, selection, machine learning algorithm, training the algorithm to develop a model, evaluating the model, deploying the model, performing prediction, assess the prediction. Assess the prediction कैसे कितने % ठीक है, that type of thing, and you can keep on changing, improving the model. So data comes in all shapes. Pre-processing your data might require specialized knowledge and tools. It takes time to load the best model to fix the data and all that. So you see this machine learning processes, supervised or unsupervised. There are two types of model learning: supervised learning, unsupervised. Supervised learning is classification, either regression, sport vector, linear regression, HCR, GPR, ensemble method, decision tree, neural network, sport vector, discriminant analysis, name based, nearest and neighbor. So इसमें आ जाता है partitioning algorithm, K mean, K method, fuzzy C mean, hierarchical, Gaussian mixture, neural network, hidden Markov model. These are the various algorithms which are talked about it. You use whichever algorithm you use, that's what is talked about it. So classification technique, regression method, that you see the classification method make prediction about discrete outcomes such as whether an email is genuine or spam. So you want to see you are automatically some mails which you don't see every day goes to spam, but you have to see spam also sometimes get very useful mails which are once a while coming to you from your friends and all that. So that's why spam has to be converted to the proper email. Similarly, email, maybe you may be getting some spams in email also, which probably the system could not figure out. So it has to go to the spam. Regression method, prediction can made with regression algorithm about which regression you are using. Is it a linear regression, multiple regression, all type of thing. Stock price predicting, hard working, hand working, recognition, electricity load forecasting. देखिए अगर टेम्परेचर बढ़ जाएगा तो आपका पावर requirement will increase. अगर बहुत घट जाएगा, then also power requirement will increase. You heating, but if it is too much high, so you cooling. So all these things are. But in the normal spring and autumn, you have less power consumption and all that. It's so that's where you can multiple classes and all that. You can go through this. Amount of time spent in training, the amount of memory needed, the accuracy with which prediction are made on a new data, and the level of transparency of interpretability, how easily you can understand the reason on the algorithm makes in the prediction. So these are the various ways which are try to talk about deep. You can read all the things, gradient browsing, boost, stopping. So the name basic. So all these things you can read this and you can work it out. So that see, this is machine learning algorithms. So these are the all the algorithms which are based and all that. Linear regression, ordinary least square method, stepwise regression, multivariate adapted regression, locally estimated scatter diagram, logistic this, k-median, expectation maximization, all that. So these are the various type of algorithms which are discussed here. These are the types of machine learning algorithms, which are all number of things are there. You can discuss this. They based average one dependence estimate, Bayesian belief network, Gaussian name network, multimodal name network, and Bayesian network, and so on and so forth. Classification of direction tree, cart, initiative, C455, all these are there. Chain, decision stump, all these are principal component analysis, partial least square methods, and all these things are mentioned. Clustering, decision tree, all these are algorithms which are mentioned there. So you can go through that. Neural network. I'll show you how the neural network works. Neural net, because you have, if you get bitten or hurt somewhere, suddenly you get the impression where the it is hurt. How does it go? It goes to the all the neurons, which are billions of neurons. It goes to your brain, and brain says this is the place where this is hurt. If brain is not working, then nothing you will know. So that's where the heart will not, because even if you are hurt, you are bleeding, nothing will know you if your brain is not working. Rule-based machine learning, all these are things. Then reinforced learning and algorithm. Uh, According to what we observed in the previous section, learning can be broken down into three main categories: supervised, unsupervised, and semi-supervised. However, in addition to these three categories, there are also other type of learning, such as reinforcement learning, deep learning, and adapted learning, and so on. These are the three other things which are mentioned. That is reinforcement learning, deep learning, and adapted learning. So these are the ये देखो सिग्नल अपने आता नहीं है machine learning. This is clustering, unsupervised, supervised. So these are the things. And then ensemble method, then reinforcement learning, neural network, generated adversary network, recurrence neural network. All these are part of the various algorithms which are there. So this is reinforcement learning, RL. Algorithm get a set of instructions and rules and then figure out how to handle a task by trying things out and seeing what works and what doesn't. So all these things are important. So we go to, this is the environment, and then there are agents. In artificial intelligence, always there are agents: reward, penalty, action. So this is action, reward, penalty, and agent is the following meanings of the different part of the reinforcement learning is agent. The agent is the person who learns and makes decisions. Environment, it's not necessarily person, it can be also part of the tools. The agent's environment is where it learns and decides what to do. A group of things, that is action, a group of things that the agent can do. State how the agent is doing in environment. Reward, the environment gives the agent a reward for each action they choose, and so on so forth. So you can say that these are the various these are 10 different models are the final thing. This is the reinforcement learning algorithm, model free, model based. So these are the policy optimization, Q learning, learn the model, model is given. So this is the model free versus model based learning. So this you can read. These are you can get. Deep learning and algorithm. So the deep learning, you have seen the deep learning was here. This is the machine learning. This is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not properly shown. Artificial intelligence should cover whole of the thing because machine learning and deep learning are part of the artificial. So if you see three dimensions, artificial intelligence is the outer concern, and machine learning, deep learning is part of it. And neural net. So these are the neurons which you have inside your body, and उस हेल्थ को manipulate किया है input, then sigmoid and summation and action and output. So this is the artificial neural network. This is the human neural network. Okay, this is the input layer, hidden layers, and output layers. So you have input. From input, when you are making the model, you should know both input and output. So it is a forward chaining so that some sigma value is used so that all inputs are added to all the output hidden layers, and then ultimately it goes to the output layer. If this doesn't match the input output, then it retraces the back. It goes back and then corrects and then keeps on coming up and down so that in iterative process 3-4 times, if you iterate, you are able to get input coming very close to the output so that you can say it is coming up to 0.01% of the output. So that sets up the model, and that's the neural network. So this is also a neural network. Recognition based on convolution neural network. This is also neural network, encoder, decoder. This is encode, coding, and this is decoding. So that, because after all, whatever you are saying is converted into the binary, and then you get the data from the memory and use it, and then go back and decode it. So restricted Boltzmann machine, and so that you can read that generative adversarial network, all these things you can just go through that, and that you can see. And then ensemble method. Ensemble method. Ensemble learning is a general meta approach to machine learning that combines prediction from different models to improve prediction. So that various models, for various data, different models have been done. So that each model has been proving success in certain area, but not proving very successful in certain area. But there are models, there are 3-4 models. All these models are used for final, and then some ensemble mean is taken of the output. So that gives you much better forecast. So that's ensemble model. So this is input, sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, tree 1, tree 2, tree 3, and combined output. So this is what, from the various models, this is a bagging ensemble learning, so that you can have all the assembles, all the models being utilized for getting your final production final. So this is a stacking ensemble. That is model 1, model 2, model 3, and so on. Output, stacking ensemble learning, and all that. So that's it. This is again boosting ensemble. Input model 1, then model 2, model 3, and so on, model 4, and so on. Model N, and combined output, and that gives you. Here you are using large number of models together so that you combine the result and all these. Weighted sample वेट उसका करते जो उसके आप एक्यूरेसी बेस्ड पर यू कैन गिव द which gives much more accurate, gives higher weight, which is less accurate, उसका less weight, and so on, so that you can have weighted samples. So that completes the Unit 9. So you can read machine learning method. There are a lot of literature there. You can see that some 4 books are mentioned here, and that's it. Before we go to classification, any question on machine learning? Any question? No? Do you want rest for 2-3 minutes before going to classification? Or I shall go ahead. बोलिए. Hello? Kiran? Somebody?
यस सर. सर आगे पढ़ाइए.
हैं?
सर नो क्वेश्चन. सर आगे पढ़ाइए.
Okay, fine. Classification. So this is the Unit 10 classification. It's basically talking of supervised learning, introduction to classification and classification algorithm, named ways, k nearest neighbors, and decision tree, and logistic regression, and sport vector machines. So these are the basic things which are discussed on this. They exactly docs learning entail anyway. What exactly it means by machine learning, that we have already seen philosophical problem, but we won't be focusing too much on philosophy in this lesson. So let's go ahead for this. Possible machine learning are both data mining and machine learning are both about learning from data and improving one's decision making. That's all. Machine learning is basically using for good decision making. Machine learning is not just being used just for fun. It is used for, say, if putting mail to spam and mail, or taking production rules, or having a new factory, a new something and all that. All these are used for data and that machine learning process and all that. So आपको कौन सी मूवी देखनी है? अगर आपके पास दिल्ली में इतनी मूवी लग रही है, which movie you should see, because you have only one day, one movie to see and all that. So all these things are important things. And then which book you should read on particular subject. AI per there are 10 books. Which book you should see? So and on literature, there are some books. Gita you should read, or Ramayana you should read, or Quran you should read. What you should read? So that type of thing which is important. So these are the things which are talked about it. Both are considered to be analytical processes. Both are effective. That is, we are saying deep learning and machine learning, effective recognized pattern. Both focus on gaining knowledge from data in order to enhance decision-making capability. Both need a substantial quantity of information in order to process. Machine learning goes beyond what has happened. At the beginning of the process of data mining, the rules of patterns that will be used are unknown. Because data mining में rules कैसे है, कैसा result होगा. Mining data is getting data, but data mining is a rule-based system. So that to get production, get rules, and get decision making. The mining of data is a more manual process that is dependent on involvement and choice making human. With machine learning, on the other hand, once the fundamental principles have been established, the process of information extraction as well as learning and refining is fully automated. That's where the question comes. So this you can read this. So you know elucided distance is T by T square under root of this, and Manhattan distance is T by this from k h is equal to 1 to k and all that. So you can Jason distances, this distances. We did all these things earlier. In I think big data we did it. So this is the machine learning technique, machine learning, unsupervised, supervised, clustering, classification, regression. Objective: understand supervised learning, understand unsupervised learning, understand various classification algorithms. So supervised learning is again, here this is the supervised learning. Access, load and data, pre-process, derive feature, train model, iterate, integrate, and mobile, as you have seen in the earlier diagram also, previous unit. इसमें ये डेटा है, इसमें train data, supervisor, so algorithm, process, and then this is broken up into all the three steps of data. This is input, this is output, is broken up into three steps of data, so that now on these you can have different models, so you can do it. Detection of spam, detection of fraudulent banking, other activities, medical diagnosis, image recognition, predictive maintenance. These are some of the uses which are there, but the following are some of the common ones, the practical application. Introduction to classification. So classification technique क्या होती है? Classification method make prediction about specific outcomes, such as whether an email is legitimate or spam, or whether tumor is a malignant or benign. Malignant तो खतरनाक होता है, benign nothing नहीं होता, उसके benign में कोई पेन नहीं होता. Classification model classify incoming data into categories, applications such as medical imaging, speech recognition, and credit scoring, artificial intelligence. For example, कोई आपने बैंक से जल्दी उसका डील होता है तो 10,000, 2,000, 3,000 रुपए या 15,000 रुपए को suddenly he find lakhs of money being transferred, that shows immediately say there is some fraud happening. So it may be that person himself is doing it, but no, it can suspect. So you send a message to the person, is it, are you doing it? If you are not, please immediately tell us so that we stop process and all that. This is the type of thing. Regression technique or regression, can you know how to do the regression in this, so that they, can your information be tagged or put into groups? Use classification algorithm? Yes, you can do that. So that's the type of thing. Classification, the process of organizing data into predetermined number of categories, is referred as classification. Structured data, unstructured data, it is RDBMS, and classifier. A classifier is an algorithm that puts the data, you give it into certain category. A classifier is an algorithm that does classification on a data set. So these are the type of things. So there is a binary classification, logistic regression, k nearest neighbor, decision tree, support vector machine, name base, all these are these. Detection of email spam, prediction of churn, prediction of purchase of conversion or fraud or whatever you have. I am telling you this. K nearest neighbors, decision tree, names way, random forest. Random forest means you have lot of trees. But your random forest means random tree you have to pick up. And gradient boosting, all this is important. One versus the rest, one versus one. So fit one binary classification model for each class versus all of the other classes. Fit one binary classification model for each pair of classes using the one-on-one computation, that type of thing. Multi-level classification. The multi-level classification, also known as more than one class classification, is a classification class. So games, people, location, and all these things are there. Multi-level decision tree, multi-level random forest, multi-level gradient reasoning. So, and imbalanced classification, all these are things you can just go through that. Classification algorithm, You can read this. This is classification algorithm. This is a class A, class B, you can say, and this is a line which separates them. That one, class A and class B, depicted in the graph that may be found below. These classes share characteristics that distinguish them from other classes, but also distinguish them from one another. Choose supervised learning, choose unsupervised learning. आप लोगों ने supervised learning, unsupervised learning, linear model, non-linear model, log loss or cross entropy model. So all these are things you can confusion matrix. These are the predicted class, positive, negative, positive, negative. You can see all these things. False negative, true positive, false positive, true negative, precision negative, this and all that. So these are the combined, whereas positive, 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 negative, 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 positive. So these are the things which are there. So this is where these things are there. Accuracy is given by this relationship, TP plus TN, all that. TP is calculated here, TN is calculated here, and FFP, all these are calculated here. This is detecting email spam, recognizing speech, detection of cancer tumor, classification of drugs, and biometric identification, etc., etc. These are the things. Naive Bayes, this is an example of statistical classification which estimate the likelihood that a particular sample belongs to a particular group, given the sample is in question. The Bayes theorem provides the foundation for it. When used to big database, the Bayes classification demonstrates both improved accuracy and increased speed. In this section, we will talk about the most basic kind of Bayesian. So you can read that it's a Bayesian integration. Bayesian theorem, in order to understand the theorem, firstly, let's understand the meaning of following symbols and assumption they are there. So you can see the next, all the symbol you can see, and that you can ultimately get this Bayesian theorem is PHX, what this is. So that this, if now after defining the Bayes theorem, let's explain the Bayesian classification with the help of an example. So this is the example you can see, and you can read it. So this is the number of training samples of this and all that. So it is 5 by 11, 6 by 11. You can just go through this. This is the age, this and all that. You can see the medium range and all this. Name Bayes again steps to perform name Bayes algorithm. You can see that handling data, then summarizing the data, making prediction, making all the prediction, etc. All these things. These are the rainy, sunny, overcast. So these are the to figure the first look at the data set. This is the data set. Then you say frequency table for weather, overcast, 0, yes, 5, and so on. Rainy, then total is this. Likelihood table, so you can see that. And then you get the Bayesian thing, yes, no, and all that, suddenly this, and then. So you get all this table here, so that you can say medium, fair, this way. Nearest neighbor, your data is this teacher classifies student marks data into set of grades A, B, C, D, E, F. Classification of height of a set of person into the classes. Because हमने fuzzy logic करा था ना, a person is tall, very tall, and actually tall. So that type of thing, 0 to 1 करते हैं, वो 0.5 कोई है, कोई 0.6 है, 0.7 है, कोई खलील जो है, 0.99 है, and all that. Basic approach to classification are this. So these are the relationships, Manhattan distance, Euclidean distance we have done, and all that. This you can see. So this is again on the Sunita Ram, gender, height, and class. Short, tall, medium, medium, all this. So you can summarize the result with this kitna short. So these are the examples. Decision trees, you can have the decision tree make this is age, personal, this and all that. You can say assistant boss, and all that, medium age and all this. You can get ये है, एज है, असिस्टेंट है, बॉस है, सैलरी सैलरी 30 to 40, अगर ये लो रेंज, हाई रेंज, इट इज बॉस, हाई रेंज तो बॉस की होगी, और डिपार्टमेंट, पर्सन, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, assistant, boss, and so on. So decision tree using ID3 algorithm for the simple data. This is this age, assistant, 41 to 50, because generally boss is supposed to be higher, older age, but in some organization it can be younger. For example, in Mani's younger son is the highest boss, so he is probably only less than 30. So he will not go as assistant, he'll go as a boss. But that's it. So this is salary. His salary may be much higher than salary of any assistant, all that. So boss, department, he may be handling much bigger departments and all that. So that's where the question comes. Data pre-processing step, fitting a decision tree, predicting the test results, so on and so forth. These are the hot, cool, medium, mild, all these things are important. Discussion with the tree. All these can be discussed. Outlook, sunny, overcast, rain. So that you can say if it is a sunny, person would not go for game. If it is overcast, so इससे ओवरकास्ट रेन हो रहा है तब भी नहीं जाएगा. तो when there is a pleasant weather you will play, but here you see when the 3:30 cricket match there, everybody goes to the stadium and sit, even if it is very hot. So that's it. So sunny, humidity is the large value, so humidity is the load that comes under the sunny. So these are the things you can have. Outlook, humidity is high, normal, overcast, yes, mild, strong, weak. तो wind weak होना चाहिए, overcast बेशक हो लेकिन rain नहीं होना चाहिए, sunny हो लेकिन humidity high नहीं होना चाहिए. So that type of thing which was there. Logistic regression, आप देख लीजिए logistic regression ये है. This is the regression. So this is the regression can be done. It's a logistic regression based on the data of predicted modeling as regression. So that why is called logistic regression. So logistic function, the math function called the sigmoid function turns predicted value into the probabilistic value. So it is a probability of rain is 80%. That's what it is. A probability of this message can go to the spam is 80%, something like that. Binomial, multinomial, all these things you can. Support vector machine, that's an important thing. Support vector machine, also called support vector classification, is a supervised and linear machine learning technique that is most often used to solve classification problems. In this section, we will talk about SVM, support vector machine, SVM. It is generally used as SVM as an abbreviation all the time. SVM is a type of algorithm that transforms the primary training data into a new format that has a higher dimension by making use of nonlinear mapping. So this is while studying machine learning, one of the classifications that we come across is called support vector machine. So one of the this is support vector machine. This is showing data into two groups. this one, and then it's broken up into the straight line so that this eases into this, showing the data into two groups. Okay, then these are the two main categories: linear support vector machine, non-linear support vector machine. You can only use linear support vector machine if the data can be completely separated into linear algorithm. Non-linear, when the data isn't linearly separable, we can use non-linear. So this this is a diagram of support vector machine. So this is a three-dimensional diagram. Working of a support vector machine is defined solely in terms of support vectors. We do not need to be concerned with the other observation because the margin in, in calculated based on the point that are support vectors, they are close to the hypothesis. So therefore, the contrast to logistic regression in which the classifier is defined over all the points because of the support vector machine is able to take use of some natural speed up. So these are the data set with two classes. This is the hypothesis, and then this is a optimal hypothesis, and then final results. So this is a four vector machine that had the unit. Any question in this? No question? Shall we go to the last unit today? Or wait?
We can continue, sir.
Continue. Okay. So this is about regression. Regression algorithm, linear regression, polynomial regression, support vector regression. So these are the things which are you know in statistics all this because in machine learning this is this say for example parent children parents the height of parents and height of the child. So supposing some parents are very short, mother is short and father is tall, or father is short and mother is tall, child can be very tall, child can be very short. So that type of thing. One child is short, other child is very tall. But if those both mother and father both are tall, then their children will be definitely tall. So that's what is until unless somebody gets abnormally down. So that type of thing. So this height of child is this plus height parents. So into height parent 0.69 height parent. So this is parents children height. So this mean height of the child is this, whereas the mean height of the parents is 68.5. तो उसका result करके ये करके उसको कर लिया. So that the linear equation for the parent and children is this. So that's a type of thing which ये ये देखिए ऐसे जैसे देखिए एक्शन equal to so that you can get the equation. Find the relationship, strength of the relationship, formation of relationship, prediction, another independent value variable. Use of regression, say regression equation आप कभी भी यूज करते हैं relationship between uh, uploading a picture on Facebook page and number of likes by friends. Because आप अपनी पिक्चर दीजिए या कोई आप फोटोग्राफ दीजिए कहिए कि लाइक और डिसलाइक करिए so you will get thousands of people giving likes and some people giving dislike or some thousand giving dislikes and some people giving likes. So relationship between the height of the child and the parent, relationship between the average food intake and weight gain. अब कौन सी फूड से आपका वेट बढ़ता है कौन सी फूड से आपका वेट घटता है कितनी फूड खाना चाहिए वेट की so these are type of thing and all that relationship between the product consumption by increasing the product price वो आप कहते हैं कि आप घर में जो घी और ऑयल can reduce by 10%, you will improve your health. So the ladies have to use less oil for frying than what they are doing. Similarly, hotels and restaurants have to use less oils and all these things. This is very important. So again, they say use less salt because salt is also not very good. Use less sugar, take more jaggery, and that type of thing which are there. So these are the example of regression using. Independent variable. For example, health of a person is a dependent variable, but what you eat, how you exercise, how you go about it is also independent variable. So outliers is value which affect and the output. Very high value or very few values will affect the result. In case of regression, first we have to remove the outlier first. So, अगर डेटा में कोई एक्सट्रीम केसेस हो उनको आपको रिमूव कर देना चाहिए सो दैट शुड नॉट सो मल्टीपल कोलिनियरिटी टू वैल्यूज डेटा सेट में क्लोज हो उनके double influence होगा है. So each other than other variable. Such a condition is called multipolarity. Example, age and date of birth are correlated to each other. So we have to avoid one of them. You should use both of them. So that under underfitting and overfitting. Overfitting results when our machine learning models work well with the training data set, but it doesn't work well with the test data set. Underfitting results when our data does not perform well even with our training data set. That type of thing. So these are the understand the regression algorithm, understand and apply linear regression, polynomial regression, support vector, SV regression. हम SVM कहते हैं, मशीन कहते हैं, SVR support vector regression कहते हैं. So linear regression is simply y is equal to a plus bx. So that's the multiple linear regression, ecological regression, range regression, lasso regression, all these you can read it, logic regression, Bayesian regression, quantity regression, coefficient regression. Linear regression is this. This is a straight line. This is data which is scattered on all the sides. So this is a linear regression. These are the linear regression with both different things. So positive linear regression, negative linear regression. This is also. So data set, linear algorithm, area of land, hypothesis, land price. कि अगर आपने हाउस देखना है या कोई लैंड खरीदनी है उसके प्राइस देखना है और कई जगह प्राइस और उसमें एरिया डिफरेंट है तो उसकी प्राइस कैसे होगा दैट यू कैन फाइंड आउट. Linear regression using least square method. So you can fit also by least square method. You can see that problem. This you have done at your statistic. Mean squared error, that's what you can see that. State true or false. Polynomial regression, this is a polynomial regression. Matrix combination हो जाता है. Support vector regression ये जो वो दो है ये है ये. This is the distance there and all that. And support vector machine is used in solving both classification and regression problems. Consider a classification puzzle having two different categories as shown in this A category and C category. The hyperplane is used to divide the points into different categories lying opposite to this and all that. So that ultimately makes a thing where that you consider the following graph, this figure equation, this biplane and all that. So this ये सारा कैलकुलेशन का है. दिस इज टाइप ऑफ थिंग. स्पोर्ट वेक्टर रिग्रेशन आ जाती है. So that finishes our 11th unit also. I think we'll continue with the 12. Can we finish? We have two more classes, so I think this is good enough. There are two more classes. That is tomorrow is there, and then it is on 9th February and 9th April. So that two classes are more there. So then we can cover up the rest of it. Okay? Any question or any doubt? Shall we redo something? Or you are okay? Have you all put your enrollment number and name in chat box? Please put it so that then I can take your attendance. Are you putting it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'll ask them. I'll बेटे रहीम को कह दो कि attendance चाहिए. Okay?